Hi, and welcome to Ask the Mayor, a regularly scheduled program where we sit down with the mayor and ask him questions about our wonderful town of Wallingford. I'm Kyle Swartz, the communications specialist at Town Hall, and joining me as always is Mayor Cervoni. Mayor, thank you for being here.
Hi, Kyle. How are you today?
I'm doing very well. A little tired. I have a newborn at home, but I'm hanging in there otherwise.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
The Wallingford Police Department recently opened its new headquarters on Barnes Road. What can you tell us about that?
It's an incredible, state-of-the-art public safety command center. The town bought a building, but when you approach it and when you get inside, it feels like you're in a completely new facility.
Absolutely.
And the utmost use of technology for, commanding and hosting a police department, and the police department is doing very well there. They're still reading through the owner's manual, but generally doing very well there.
The scope of that building is enormous. It really is a large facility, which is good because the old building was getting kind of tight on our officers.
It had really quickly become inadequate. When I was first elected to the council during the 2009 election, right before we were sworn in, we saw a presentation, an architect's draft of a proposed new building for the police station on the Wooding Kaplan parcel. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so in 2009, the town knew that the facility they were in on North Main Street was going to be inadequate. And this has adequate facilities for everyone. Like I said, state of the art. Even the holding cells are much safer than the iron bar cells that are left behind at the armory. I think our police department, like so many departments in town, they work very hard. They deal with people at their worst. And to check in and out of a facility like that has got to be somewhat inspiring.
Yeah, absolutely. And I had the pleasure of touring it for our video that we put up on social media that did very well. So thank you again to the police department. Great time there. Speaking of the armory, I know it's too soon to really know what might become of that building, but anything you can say about that now vacant building?
We are exploring what its next use will be. And I've been encouraged to consider some type of business use, selling it for some kind of business use. And the issue that I have with that is that we do have a communications tower at the site. Yep. that needs to be located in the center of town. We have two issues with that. We do not have another optimal location to move the communications tower to. Even if we did, based upon the experience we have putting a new communications tower at 100 Barnes Road at the new police station location, we believe that the cost of moving the communications tower from the Armory building is likely to exceed $2 million. So we're considering a whole variety of possibilities for use of it, and when we think we've come up with a good plan, we do have to present it to the town council for their approval.
I was going to say, you say we, and obviously the town council will be part of this decision-making process.
Absolutely.
Wouldn't be an Ask the Mayor if I didn't ask the same question that I ask in every single one of these, and that is the town pool question. That is the question that people ask the most in this town. I know you just gave an update on it in your State of the Town address, but for those who didn't view that or didn't view our video about it on social media, can you tell us a little bit about where we stand right now with the town pool?
We've actually advanced a little bit from the State of the Town address. We do have the final specs back from the architect. The architect and the purchasing agent are going to be meeting so that the bid specs can be best developed. And that's going to happen sometime next week.
Oh, great. Fantastic. Yeah. Do you know when that might go before the town council, or?
It would go before the town council when we're ready to award the bid, because we would be looking for the funding from the town council.
Of course, of course. Can you tell us about any of the recent economic developments in town? I know there's been some.
There's always something happening in this town with respect to business and our local economy. We have two big businesses in town that are expanding significantly. I believe Biotechny is doubling their footprint out on Research Parkway, a $30 to $50 million expansion. And Nell Hydrogen, in the same neighborhood, is undertaking the same type of expansion, same scope. These are two of our worldwide companies. And then on the other side of I-91 in the same neighborhood, the Proton Therapy Center is really coming along. If you drive by, you might be able to see that they have poured the two vaults. These are structures with 6 and 8 foot concrete walls. If you can get yourself a ticket in there, if there's going to be a nuclear event, it's going to be the safest place in town to be.
Good to remember.
It's amazing. Tremendous. Tens of millions of dollars of development going on in town as we speak.
Fantastic. Great to hear. One of the things that caused a little bit of stir last year was when the home reevaluations went out. And of course, we're far from the only town where the home reevaluations went out and people kind of took to alarm to social media because the values of their homes went up so much, implying that the value of their taxes might go up as well. Can you tell us a little bit about perhaps let the taxpayers understand what the situation is and how they might be able to navigate it going forward?
Sure. So the average homeowner experienced a 40% increase in appraised value of their property.
Yeah.
And that's not something that's made up. That's research of the market, of the closings that are happening, the transfer prices that are happening in this town. I got the town clerk's report, and I don't remember what the math was that went into it, but the hundreds of millions of dollars of real estate that was transferred over the last year, our average home value is just over $366,000, which is, when you consider the variety of the demographic of this town, that's a healthy home value.
It really is.
But with respect to how that's going to impact your taxes, you're not going to see a commensurate increase in taxes. You're not going to see the same value increase in taxes. The town doesn't tax for a windfall. What we're going to do is we're going to develop a budget that reflects the needs to run the town, and we're going to calculate a new mill rate based upon what the total cost to operate the town will be. So there's a likely significant reduction in what the mill rate will be. And that's how we adjust for the results of the appraisal.
Of course, and that's a very important point for everybody at home to understand, to look forward to in the new year and the new budget. What do these reevaluations say about the state of the Wallingford real estate market? Like you say, that 40% is a real number, and I believe right now there are 14 homes for sale in Wallingford, which is not a large number.
It's a frustrating time to be a realtor. I mean, sure, as a realtor, you're getting a bigger commission, but they're not happening with the regularity that they were happening, say, 3 years ago. But it says that we have a healthy and vibrant home market. Like so many things, about this town, when it comes to our economy, we are healthy and vibrant. People want to move here. So we're fortunate in that regard. And, if you are a homeowner, God bless you. You're sitting on a lot more equity than you thought you were.
Yeah, my home has gone up significantly. I live in Wallingford. My home has gone up significantly, as has everyone's in town. You recently delivered your annual State of the Town address, and what was different about this one than the one you delivered last year is you actually had a year under your belt now. I believe you delivered your first one with a couple of weeks?
That's correct. Not a whole month. I think I was 3 weeks in office, and the State of the Town address is really based upon the prior year's annual audit. So that was really Mayor Dickinson's last full year operating the town. So this time around, again, I'm reflecting back on the audit for the budget year that closed June 30th of 24. And I had the benefit of half the year of operating the town for that report. We did report on some statistics that involved calendar year events, but and that was the audit report based upon a budget that was adopted by the council over Mayor Dickinson's veto. So it was really a compromised budget.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. What was it like having a full year now, though?
It really gives you a better perspective of things, and the growth. I mean, knock on whatever, it is really something that I got to experience and navigate firsthand, and the results of the year in review. By and large, when it came to government operations, I certainly had a more direct hand in.
Of course.
Yep.
During that speech that you gave, you mentioned some of the improvements that you see coming for downtown. Do you want to expand a little bit more on that?
Sure. Well, we're looking for something to do with the Armory, of course. And in the course of repurposing it, it's going to be improved. It's a late 80s remodel that needs a whole new second look. We are looking at some incentives and initiatives to encourage development. We're going to take a good hard look and come up with a plan for the parking lots behind the businesses on Center Street. The town owns a fair amount of that parking for public use. And we'd like to, approach developers and, instead of doing making it look like there are teeth missing in the pavement that we're going to eventually do, we'd like to enter into arrangements so that they at the same time can pay to cover the cost of the pavement going right up to their property. And we'd like to come up with an attractive enough parking area that it gives those real estate owners an incentive to make the rear of their building as attractive as the street front. Wouldn't it be nice to, you've got this off-street parking to park behind it and say, oh my gosh, I don't want to go in that door. I'm going to walk all the way around the front to the street and go in, the street front door because they've kept a better facade where it faces the street. So that's one of the things we're grinding away at thoughts for what to do to repurpose the historic train station building. That's going to be vacant at the end of the school year in this June because the adult education program is going to move to 4 Fairfield Boulevard. They're working on building that out as we speak. We're continuing to work on revitalizing the downtown, and we are going to revisit, some of those summer nights out that we had last summer. It seemed that they were incredibly well attended and very successful, and the business owners were certainly grateful for the opportunity that it presented.
Yeah, I thought those events were hugely successful, having attended all of them myself. What I loved about them is they brought all of the community out, and you really got to see how diverse Wallingford was. You got to see all the young families come out. It really was a wonderful, family-friendly community event, all of those.
Oh, it absolutely was. Our downtown, notwithstanding that program, our downtown has really evolved into a downtown dining destination.
Yeah.
Just in the past year, 3 new restaurants have opened, and you cannot go hungry on North Main Street.
I'm obviously a spirits nerd as well,
Sure.
for those who know me, and we have a lot of very good bars downtown now as well, including the Speakeasy that's phenomenal.
I think that's the Gilded Curtain.
I believe you're right.
Yes, I love the facade. You feel like you've stepped back into the late 1980s, with the opportunity to take VHS home with you. And then you have to sneak in through the secret opening.
I tried to rent Home Alone too, but they wouldn't let me.
Yeah. I might be able to show you how to stream that. But it's amazing to me that just to use that as an example, a lot of nights this past warm season, there was a line out the door for that place.
That's great to see. Great to see a new business succeeding that way in downtown Wallingford.
It's great for the
It
town.
really is. Speaking of improvements, obviously one of the themes of your time in office now has been improvements to technology in Town Hall and also just across the town in general. Can you tell us a little bit about some of those? I should say we've been getting a lot of questions on social media about direct payment and bill paying options. I know that's something you have as a goal. Can you tell me a little bit about where we stand in all of that?
We are zeroing in on a vendor that is going to make the bill paying opportunity much more like what you experience with, say, your credit card. Paying your credit card statement online or paying some other bill online. You'll be able to get your bill, your invoice for service delivered to you electronically, and then you'll be able to pay it online. The user fee is going to be much more reasonable than what we experience now. That flat $9 and how many ever cents is really it discourages you from paying that way. But I believe that the system will go so far as to allow you to set up auto payments for some of the utilities. And we're hoping to see that launched sometime during this spring. But to get there, what people don't realize is the electronic infrastructure within Town Hall that had to be updated and upgraded to take on the volume of digital activity that's going to be running in and out of offices. So that's nearing completion. Our Director of Information Technology, Andy Winters, has been supervising that. He's been working incredibly hard, very dedicated, and grateful to have him. As a matter of fact, I kind of ribbed Now Hydrogen at the State of the Town because we took him away from them, and they were good about it. But there's a lot going into making sure that the routers and the hardware and the servers and everything is in place that to be able to handle the amount of data that's going to be coming in and out of Town Hall. Very soon, the department heads will be getting laptops. This gives us what I call a resiliency plan. In the event that there is some type of catastrophe that prevents people from walking into Town Hall for whatever reason, the department head will be able to operate or supervise his department or her department from home. Yeah. Or from a remote location if they don't want to do it from home. I don't want to tell people where they have to
go to Starbucks, or one of our lovely coffee places downtown.
We have those too. We do.
Wallingford, not necessarily known for its technology, so bringing it up into the 21st century takes a lot of work on the back end, like you were saying.
Yes, yeah, and I think a lot of people don't necessarily appreciate that. The majority of us, we hook up with Comcast or Frontier to get our data. They give us a router with a wireless, and we plug it in and make sure that our password matches what's on the router, and we're up and running. But with the volume of data that's going to be coming in and out of Town Hall, it's going to be multiplied, and for that you need hardware that can handle that capacity.
Absolutely, yeah. And let's all hope that comes sooner than later, perhaps in spring, we'll see, but that'll be such a welcome upgrade to town for many people. I think many people are going to be very happy about that.
Yep.
Speaking of trying to find ways to take into account the entire populace in town, there's been a lot of talk in articles in the Record Journal recently about the town's desire to increase affordable housing, especially for seniors. Can you talk a little bit about what's being done in this area?
Yes. We do, at last night's Planning and Zoning meeting, they are in the process of reviewing regulations to increase some density in downtown so that there will be an ability to build affordable housing in the downtown center. Additionally, the town has owned the boathouse property. It used to be Choate's Boathouse property, and they have not been able to launch boats from it since the dam breached, and we no longer have Community Lake since 1978. We swapped, it's 10 or 12 years ago, we swapped the boathouse property with Choate and gave them a chunk of Beaumont Avenue off North Main Street. But it's been sitting there. We had to demolish the building because it was unoccupied or unused for 30-something years. And one of our thoughts is to use that building to build some senior affordable housing. And the town council approved the RFP that's going to go out for a design, and it's making its way to our town's digital portal for bidding, which pre-existed me. We've had that for a while. It's not even there yet, and Don Crouch tells me, our economic development director, tells me that we were already getting calls from architects who are interested in designing this project. And, because it involves the disposition of town-owned land or property, it does have to go before the town council. But what I'd like to see is the council have input and buy-in into what the design and use will be.
Of course.
And so we're going to take this design and we're going to propose it. We're going to send that out to some type of invitation to participate process. and have someone else develop it on our property. And we're exploring a variety of ways to get that done.
Yeah.
So
That'd be fantastic, because nobody wants to see seniors in a situation where they're really struggling to find affordable housing. That's such an unenviable situation for people in their elder years. So I really hope to see the town improve there, and I'm sure many people hope to see that as well.
well, we have baby boomers who are aging out of their houses.
Yeah.
It's just the reality of it. You know, there are people living in raised ranches and colonials that really shouldn't be going up and down stairs several times a day.
Yeah.
And they don't want to, but they're not given an affordable option or an option that they can downsize into. So we have to create more of that stock, and that will open up that middle housing market for young families to come into town.
As you look ahead, what do you see for the next year?
Continuing to look at the town infrastructure, the buildings that need a plan to keep them useful and vital for the town's uses. One of the things that we are looking at in terms of digital improvements is an inventory software where our director of public works and our town engineer can take stock of all the roads, sidewalks, and buildings that the town owns and maintains. Talk about their age, their state of existence, and then come up with projections for plans to keep those things moving in the right direction. The development that we talked about, the commercial development that we talked about earlier in the program, we're going to continue to support that. We're going to make sure that this continues to be a very friendly place to do business. The Planning and Zoning Commission just approved a text amendment to allow a data center to go in the IX zone. We believe that we're going to get an application for a data center. This is another thing that puts Wallingford on that world map. There's a handful of data centers in Connecticut, and the fact of the matter is that for us to continue to access the World Wide Web, we need data centers near us to do that more efficiently. So, and because of the state's pilot program, which exists because our mill rates don't work as compared to other states in terms of taxing a data center. If you put a data center in Wallingford under our current tax structure, it's just not a feasible business model. So we are in a position where we can negotiate a pilot which would still bring us significant tax revenue.
Good.
From the presence of a data center.
Good. And yet data centers, necessary facility in the 21st century in our hyper online lives. You're known for bringing your dogs to work, so much so that even my 3-year-old daughter now knows that the mayor brings dogs to work. She goes, oh, the mayor has his dogs in town hall? She asks me every day when I come out, you see the mayor's dogs?
Well, you should bring her in to meet them.
She wants to. She's going to. I'm going to bring her in soon. Of course, Hawkins is your famous dog. Hawkins has by far the biggest personality in town hall. Any Hawkins stories from recent time that you can share?
So I was away for a long weekend this past weekend. One of the reasons why I started bringing Hawkins to work with me, which started before I was mayor in my law office, he's a puppy, and we have a senior dog, and my wife works at home. And she's very much chained to her screen while she's working. And the combination of her having to focus on her screen, having a senior dog that the puppy wants to play with, you have to take him out of that environment. Mm-hmm. And my law practice was flexible enough that I could raise a puppy in my office. So that's how he started coming to work with me. But anyway, I was away this past weekend, and Corey and Dawn really enjoy Hawkins. I am sure that whether I'm there or not, they enjoy him much more than me.
And Corey and Dawn are work in your office.
Yes. Corey is the administrative aide to the mayor, and Dawn is the executive secretary. Mm-hmm. And, on my way out to leave for my break, Corey said, you can tell Jane that if Hawkins is a problem, that he can come to work. And sure enough, on 2 of the days that I was gone, Hawkins was there without me, and I will share with you a photograph of Hawkins sitting in my chair, dressed to be mayor, wearing a tie. And he really, he just brings this comfort to town. to
He
town
really
hall.
does.
Yeah, yeah, and there are many more people who stop into the mayor's office to see Hawkins than they do to see me.
And this confirms my long suspicion that Hawkins is really running the town.
In a manner of speaking, he does promote positivity. He's a happy guy, and if you walk in, there's a good chance that he's going to pick up a ball and he's going to bring it and drop it at your feet because he expects you to throw it for him.
I've been there many times myself. We're recording this in February, and it's freezing outside. But as you look forward to spring, what are you most looking forward to?
Well, first of all, I enjoy winter. My wife and I are skiers, and so I don't dread the winter. But the seasons changing is really a benefit of being in New England, and we'll be out and about, and the grass will turn green, and the flowers will bloom, and before you know it, the Memorial Day parade will be here. And we also we have a couple of more celebrations this year. Last year it was the electric division turning 125. This year our probate court is celebrating its 250th year.
50.
And also there is going to be coming up what's called the Powder House reenactment, and it's some conflict between the Revolutionary soldiers and the Loyalists over ammunition that occurred here in Wallingford. So look out in the media for announcements about the Powder House reenactment. So it's an exciting time again to be out and about during the warm weather in Wallingford.
Absolutely. And thank you. That's about all the time we have for this Ask the Mayor. I want to thank the mayor for joining us as always.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I want to thank all of you who tuned in to watch. Keep an eye out for the next one of these later in the spring. Until then, stay warm out there and stay well, Wallingford.